Hello everyone, Valerie here. Today I'm going to be sharing with you how I dye my eyebrows. These are supplies that I use. I'm using the Color Silk Revlon number 20 in brown black. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and mix a tiny amount of the both parts of the coloring system. Just a little dot, and it has to be equal parts, and then mix that very well. This is the third or fourth time I've actually used this same box. Just be sure that you don't completely mix both parts when you first open the box. You want to keep the two separate parts separated and mix a tiny amount like this each time you need to redo your eyebrows. I typically redo my eyebrows every 3 to 5 weeks. Now that that's all mixed, I'm taking a diluted apple cider vinegar mixture and I'm going to put a tiny amount of that on a cotton ball and wipe it across my eyebrows to get off any natural oils so that the mixing solution will stick well to the hairs and the skin underneath. Now that that's dry, I'm going to go ahead and start filling in my eyebrows with this tiny angled brush. I want it to saturate the hairs very well and also to sit directly on the skin at the base of the hairs. And the reason I do that is so that it will tint the skin and it will look like I've filled in my eyebrows every day without having to actually fill in the eyebrows. And once I'm done doing that, I go ahead and let this sit in my eyebrows for about 2 to 5 minutes at the most, and then I take either a baby wipe or a makeup removing wipe or a damp piece of paper cloth or something, and then I just wipe it off very well until the cloth comes off clean. Now if you get any of that on skin where you don't want it, just take a piece of cloth or tissue and be sure to wipe that off before the stain starts to set. Now that I look super crazy, I'm going to go ahead and start wiping off that hair dye off of the first eyebrow that I did. And you can see how it looks darker than it did on my natural brow. In my opinion, it looks way better. And I don't have to take the time to fill in my eyebrows with powder and makeup. Now you can see I've already removed the hair dye from the other eyebrow, and it always looks a little funny there in the front of my eyebrow on this side because I have such sparse hairs, but from a regular distance away it looks like I filled in my eyebrows with makeup, so it doesn't really bother me. Now for whatever reason I decided that this wasn't as dark as I would like my eyebrows, so I decided to go ahead and repeat this entire process a second time on my eyebrows to make it a little darker. Now to remove the hair dye from my eyebrows for the second time, you can tell they are darker. I do prefer them to be a little darker even though they look a little crazy that first day. It does lighten up and will look a little more natural. So now I'm going to go ahead and use an oil to put over my eyebrows to just rehydrate the hairs so that it doesn't get too dried out from the hair dye treatment that I put on there. And this is just a DIY eyelash serum that I created. That video will be coming out in September once I have my first, second, and third month results sharing how this treatment helped my eyelashes to grow longer. You can use any oil, coconut oil, whatever works well for you. So I'm just going to let that be for the day. I've decided to go ahead and put on some mascara so that my eyebrows don't look too dark and crazy, and this is how it looks with just a little bit of makeup on. And this is the following day once the tint has faded down a little bit after washing my face. And that is all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, bye.